friends of Hawaii Forum, I am happy to welcome a young friend of Pujya Swamiji, Commander Lijo Chacko, who is a retired naval commander from Indian Navy. Among other things, he is the alumnus of Yale University. In Indian Navy, he was a team member of many outstanding projects such as nuclear-propelled submarine. At present, he is an executive director of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Foundation and is also offering services at many service-oriented NGOs like Guru Puraskar Foundation, Citizen for Public Leadership. He is also a core member of DISM, the Leadership School, having its base at Panchgani in Maharashtra. Our Pujya Swamiji is also a part of selection panel of the Leadership School and will share his insights in a course being designed at the Leadership School. Last but not least, and most relevant to the webinar this evening, Commander Lijo was a participant of the Indian Navy's expedition to Mount Everest in the year 2004. And today, he will not only talk about the Everest adventures, but also share his real life experiences in different fields of his life that he has walked through. Once again, I welcome Commander Lijo and invite him to start his presentation. Welcome, Lijo.
Thank you so much. I'm not that young. I'm pushing 50, so just. I spent about 25 years in the Navy, including training, and then last 6-7 years I've been with non-profits. So I'll try sharing my screen.
Yeah.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing, so you might have to give me permission. Do you mind now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to go to full screen. It takes some time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can see the screen, full screen, right?
You can see.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start. We already have lost some time. I'm audible, right?
Sure, well, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you are very well.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. Anyway, it's always a pleasure to relive the ascent to Everest. But I should first of all tell you as a disclaimer, I cannot claim to be a mountaineer because I have only climbed Everest. I've not climbed any mountain before, or I've not climbed anything after that either. But anyway, I was lucky to be part of the expedition. Actually, the team had been planning and preparing and training for almost 2 years. I was a wildcard entry. I was present at the right time, at the right place. We had a selection in Siachen along with Army in the Siachen Battle School. Got selected, went on to Ladakh, again got selected and went in. Everest has got two phases, the north and the south. South faces the Nepal side, which is more snow, easier to climb because of the snow part, and less number of deaths. The north face is, as you see in the picture, it's rocky, it's on the China side, and more number of deaths, less chances of climbing. And when we climbed in 2004, because of these differences, the royalty to be paid per head to Nepal was $10,000, and the Chinese or the Tibet side, where we climbed from, it was $4,500. Now the cost would be totally different, but just to give you a sense that it was less than half. And we in the Navy decided to climb from this place because no other Indian Defense Force had climbed Everest from that side. So that was the reason to take it up. And we were all amateurs. We had not done anything much, but we said, okay, let's give it a shot. And then that's how we went. The flag off, most of us in the team were submariners. The flag off was by the then Defense Minister, George Fernandez. And what you see at the back, the black silhouette, is that of a submarine. It had just surfaced from underwater. The flag handing over was inside the submarine. That is the picture that you're seeing right now. It is inside a submarine at 40 meters depth underwater. Everybody has to be. The jugaad thing does not work in mountaineering, does not work in submarines, because it's a dangerous environment and literally people can die. So we always say that we have to try and be the strongest link in the chain and not try to take umbrage under the fact that it just because it's teamwork, somebody else can carry. We did lose a few people from our side. That year that we climbed, 17 people died from the entire group that was in the North Face base camp. And 2 people, the closest friends of ours were the South Korean team. They had a team of 7. 3 of them died, and 2 of them who were there in this picture, the first 2, they also died. And at that height, when you die, it was over the base camp tree. Even the body cannot be brought down because nobody really has the strength to manage that. Just those days we had very rudimentary cameras, so some of our pictures don't really show the steepness of the climb. This is a 90-degree climb, and when you climb, you actually, like in swimming and diving, mountaineering is also done by legs and much less with hands. Hands are generally used only to balance. All the rest of the work is done by legs. This is a proper 90-degree climb. Just some glimpses I thought I will show you. And there were crazy people also who had come to base camp. Some came with the dinner sets, some came with golf sets. They said that we'll climb to whatever heights we are possible and see whether we are the first one to climb to that height with the dinner set. Sit there and have a meal and say that we have had the dinner at the highest place in the world. One guy was carrying a golf set, saying that I'll tee off from wherever I can reach, and then have and try to be in the Guinness book. But here also, I remember that there was a British guy who was climbing, and one of the most important things when we reach a camp is to strip yourself fully of all the clothes that you're wearing and then wear new clothes, because you sweat a lot while climbing. And if you delay changing the dress, especially the inners, it freezes onto your body. But many times you're so tired and you're okay to bear the cold and you really do not have the strength to remove it, and sometimes your mind is also not working properly. So this guy, while sleeping, got out of his tent without dressing himself properly because he thought that the tent was moving and swaying in the wind, and he touched a metallic part of the tent. We saw him after 10 days, and by the time we removed his gloves, we saw that all his 10 fingers were black in color, literally black in color. We put him onto aloe vera things and all that, but we're sure that when he went back, he would have had to amputate all his fingers. And the worst part was that we asked him, and very importantly, you have to change remove your socks and wear fresh pair of socks when you reach a camp. This guy had not opened his shoes for 1 week. So we didn't even open his shoes. We told him just go back to base camp. We would have, another 2 days we would have reached there, because we were sure that auto amputation would have happened. The toes would have caught frostbite, and after a while body amputates on its own. So when he removes his shoes, his leg will come out without the toes, and when he clears the shoes, the toes will come out. So it's pretty bad at great heights. This one glimpse I thought I'd show. This was this is Camp 1. As you see, it's 23,000. It's a small ledge. While preparing, we come here, keep the tents, try to go up, come back, do the minimum possible. I mean, we don't try to stay for long, except for acclimatization. And when you see plumes like that you see in this picture, it is because the winds are very high. And if you see a plume on top of Everest, it means, though it looks beautiful, it means that you really cannot climb. Winds are very, very high at that point of time. And one of the panelists, one of the selection panelists, along with Chidananji's Dr. Sudhakar Varanasi, who told me that probably adventure stands for venture plus adversity plus venture, and that's what it gives you. And it's also the same. We're going up from Camp 1 up. You see those ledges. It's pretty narrow. It's not visible in this kind of photograph. Bad cameras those days. And it's not that when you're going through this place, your legs are not shaking or your thighs don't feel like jelly. I think it's a play of fear and courage at that point of time. Fear which keeps you balanced. You know that you have to plan yourself well, don't hurry up or whatever. And courage which sees you through. And I think it was here that I remember of Virgil's Aeneid. And I think there's a quote there which it says, is it the gods who put fire in you, or is it the fire in you which makes you God? So it's that kind of a game there. You know that it is dangerous, but you still go in. Camp 1 to Camp 2, just to show you the ledge that we cross. We lay the ropes too. Laying of ropes is a separate thing altogether. When you climb a certain height without any safety, and everybody has to do that in turns. And you do that, and then you lay the rope, and then you let your team members climb. This I show basically because the guy in the foreground, his name is Vikas, he had not even done the basic mountaineering course. So if anybody tells that you cannot do something because you do not have a government sealed certificate, this guy is a living proof that he did it. He went up to the top. A lot of times we meet youngsters who say that we do not have the real qualification to do something. And many times in social space, people ask us, do you know it? We said, we will learn on the job. And if we are committed enough, I guess you will reach the top of Everest too. This is a fun picture which I would like to talk to you about. The people who are lying down and resting are my teammates. The average age of our group was about 30, yeah. And the person standing in the background in red, she was then a lady. She was then 51 years old. Look at the way she's standing. She's so confident. She's resting just like that. We are plonked onto the side of the mountain. And believe you me, she would start about half an hour after us, meet us on the way, encourage us, and reach the next camp at least 45 minutes before us. And the age gap between her and us was 20 years minimum. Her husband was also along with him. Both the feet were amputated, half of the feet, and so he had specialized boots in which he would climb. And they would climb without oxygen, mind you. So this is from Camp 2. This is what makes north face more difficult than south face to climb. That is, the Chinese side becomes more difficult than the Nepali side to climb, because now you suddenly see that there is no snow, and you are so far been climbing with boots with crampons which are designed to hold on to snow. But when you reach rocky places, you really do not have the strength to remove it at that point of time. So you have to manage with this. And from Camp 2 to Camp 3, even while sleeping in Camp 2, we have started using oxygen. And it also leads you to a little bit of hallucination things, and you are not really sure whether you're seeing it right or not. There was a time when I was not so confident, and I identifies if you look at your saliva, if it is yellowish in color, you know that you started having hypo. So I spat onto one place and looked at my saliva, and I was not sure whether it is white or yellow. So I asked my tent mate to look at it, and he said, "Sir, it looks white." But now I am not sure whether he is also seeing it correctly or not. So it's a judgment call at every point of time. And the person who was climbing in orange here, in Camp 2, at one point he came to our tent from another tent and asked, is anybody having a stomach ache? We said, no, we don't have any problem. We were 3 of us. 15-20 minutes later, he came back to our tent and said that he was having stomach ache, and he thought somebody else was having stomach ache. So it can be a little dangerous there. This is Camp 3, 8,300. You already crossed into what is called as the death zone. It is above 8,000 meters. Above 8,000 meters, there is nothing called acclimatization. So you just finish off your job and finish your summit and come back. Actually, like what I said, if I just to remind you, we come up to this height, just 500 meters short of the summit, and go all the way back to the base camp, rest, relax, drink a lot of water, hydrate yourself, and then we have to wait from our Mausam Bhavan in Delhi, the weather report, which tells that we have a 1 week window to climb Everest. That's all that everybody gets. When before that itself, all the Sherpa and the team leaders are supposed to, in the base camp, get together and decide who will go first, who will go second, who will go third. And it is when this arrangement is thrown to winds that you see pictures which had come, I think, a few months ago or so, where people, there's a traffic jam on Everest and people die. You have to really strictly adhere to it. But what happens is that people have been preparing for 2 years for that 1 week window, and if you don't get it, people panic. They say, no, we'll go ahead, and then deaths happen, confusion happens. Anyway, so this is 27,000 feet. We come here by about lunchtime, take rest, eat if you can, and at night, at 10 in the night, you start climbing. That's your summit attempt with headlamps. You try to reach the summit by early morning, 5:30 or so, take your mandatory 2-3 photographs as proof, and then come down. This is quite, I think it was 27,000, 28,000 feet. It's like being in an aircraft, and this picture always reminds me of what cosmonaut Rakesh Sharma had told us when I had gone to meet him. He said that the first couple of days when they are in the International Space Station or in space, everybody is looking at whenever this satellite goes around the Earth, everybody's trying to find his or her own country. After a couple of days, everybody looks at the continent. And then he said that after that, all this excitement dies down. And then you just look at your small, tiny planet. And he told me that, and we realized that there are no real boundaries between countries. And what is it that we human beings are doing, actually? So it's a nice story that he told. We would not be able to do the summit attempt had people, some unknown people, we do not even know them, had they not come and put these ladders for us to climb. We don't even know their names. We don't even know whether they're paid or unpaid. It somehow gives me that feeling that this is an example of servant leadership. People are much more confident than us, much stronger than us. They can carry this. I mean, we struggle to carry our own luggage and the oxygen cylinder. Of men and women who can come and put this there. For us, hundreds of, at least many tens of people climb over this with deep gratitude. I mean, in that kind of terrain, when you go, you really get to know how powerful nature is. Just to show you that's how summit looks like from where we climb. That is the summit area. It's the size of a classroom. That's about it. Everybody would get maximum 15 minutes there because people are waiting and you have to respect them because other people are there in the line. So about 2 years, 3 years of work, you get about 15 minutes on top. And you're not supposed to leave anything on top. You're supposed to get everything back. Whatever you carry there, you should get back. There are huge fines, but always it's not enforced because not everybody, I mean, they can't know who's left those things. And there's a favorite poem of mine, which I carried along Everest too, which tells you that it's your journey which is more important than the destination after all. I like the part where it said, don't in the least hurry the journey. Better it lasts for years so that when you reach the island, you're old, rich with all you've gained on the way. Not expecting Ithaca to give you wealth, but it gave you a splendid journey. And none of us would dare to say that I climbed Everest, sorry, none of us, because we know that it's a team effort. There were at least 5 or 6 Sherpas also who were not there in the picture, and there's no other way we could have made it had everybody not been helping us wholeheartedly. And since it's a team spirit, there's nothing like you're a climbing member, your support staff, everything. Because if the support staff is not there, the climbing member will not manage, cannot manage. There are many tombstones kind of thing, which the families of people who've died on Everest put there. This I took because we still do not know whether they were the ones who actually climbed Everest much before Tenzing and Hillary. The bodies were found, but the camera was not found. So there's no proof that they climbed. And if you see, when we see Tenzings and Hillaries, etc., equipment, we know that they were super climbers. We had, by the time we climbed, the material developments were all very good. So we were carrying lightweight material. So in this case, we think that it's like what Newton said, that we were seeing far because we were standing on the shoulders of giants. They were super climbers, and we couldn't have matched with them, I guess. I had written my diary every day when I climbed Everest. If I could not carry my diary at high altitudes, I would write on a piece of paper, which I would transcribe back when I came back. Many years after that, I, out of the blue, just Googled, found out the CEO of the top publishing house in Kerala, and I said, I have such a diary, which I've written my just accounts of what I did every day and what happened, deaths, things like that. Would you want to have a look at it? So he gave to his team. It took them about 2 years to translate, and they published it as Everest Diary. So I tell many people that it's okay if you do not have contacts and things like that. You can do the most outrageous thing, and this was one of very outrageous things that I've done, calling up the CEO of the top publishing house and telling, I've got something, and who is Lijo Chacko? And nobody knows, nothing at all. But it was good, and I would say that those days I was helping one single non-profit, so all the proceeds from that went to them. But it was a good experience for me. Thank you. I try to hurry up so that we have some time for question and answers. I can probably stop sharing.
Thank you, Lijoji. Any questions, please, you are free to ask, and he'll be happy to answer you.
Yes.
Hello, Namaskar. This is Jyoti. Hello. And I understand you're from Kerala too, so are we.
Oh, okay. I'm right now in Kottayam. Yeah. I was down with Corona. I've recovered. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
are you in Kerala
I had a
now?
bad attack. Yeah, correct. Somewhere between Kottayam and
Chennai. Oh, we were reading your poem. And what is the meaning of Ithaka?
Ithaka, though there's a place like that, but when this poet wrote, it's a dreamed, it's an imaginary place, your dream destination, your destination in life. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Nice presentation. Thank you.
Nice presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, did you see God there?
Oh, no. I didn't. We were too tired. I wrote it in English. Somebody has recently, I'm just answering to that question on the chat. So somebody has recently taken the thing and transcribed it. They said that they would like to publish it as a book for youth. So if it comes, I will surely tell Chidanandaji and he can pass on the message. But I remember that there was some time, like maybe just to answer Mr. Chandrasekhar, there was one place, it was very difficult for me to read my diary after I came back. Initially, first 2 years, I did not even touch it. Because there was one place that I've written, I did something, came back, pitched tent, this guy died, I went to make dinner. So my flow was like that. And I was wondering, how did I even write like that? What was I at that point of time? What was my state of mind? That this guy who died, and he's from the South Korean team, from whatever friendship that we struck in the 1.5 months at that point of time, it meant a lot, but we were really dead tired. And it also reminds me, I think there's one Nobel Prize winner who had written about he and his father fighting for a loaf of bread. I think they were refugees somewhere or something. And he said that I tore it away from my father because I was stronger at that point of time. And I had that bread. And his father died. But not just at that point of time, but much later. So there is something in us, probably at some point of time it kicks in, maybe it's survival. I have no answer for it, really speaking.
Sir.
Oh, please call me Lijo.
Mr. Lijo.
Just
What
Lijo
about your
words.
food?
Yeah.
And so cold.
Yeah, correct. And I am a vegetarian. I was a vegetarian then too. So it was difficult. It was noodles and cabbage for me all throughout those 2 months. We had the best of chocolates. We had the best things, semi-cooked things, some from India, some from New Zealand, etc. But many of us couldn't eat. So much so, many of the, at least the vegetarians, we survived on sattu, which we used to borrow from the Sherpas who could not afford to buy costly chocolates. So it is their sattu which kept us, some of us alive. We would make some tea, pour it into the sattu and make it some kind of a porridge and eat and go on. So that was our food.
But is there any kerosene lamps or something where you can heat it?
Yeah. So till advanced base camp, Sherpas help us with LPGs. We actually carry LPGs, what we have it at home. And we have proper stalls and burners and people help us do that. But while going up beyond that, you have a small canister kind of a thing, this big. It's got a small cylinder and got a small burner, and attached with that is a small vessel too. So in that we can, all of it is ready to cook meal kind of a thing. We get a lot of ice put into that. Takes you about half an hour to make a cup of tea. And then in that, you either pour water into the other one or whichever way. So that's what helps us.
Nights are pitch dark?
No, not really very dark, because that place, the time that the air is rarefied, there's no pollution, so stars are clear, and if there is moonlight, it's not that dark.
Could I ask a question, please?
Please.
My name is Purna, and the question I wanted to ask you, Commander, is now seeing the pictures itself has made me understand that there's something very supernatural about that mountain. Now, my question is, has it psychologically changed you, this climb to the Everest?
Yeah, I think all of us were impacted in some way or the other. Like one thing we are very clear is that though we all say that nature is very powerful, etc., it's when you are actually put into this kind of environment that you really understand what that thing means and how puny you are, and you really cannot take anything for granted. And the camaraderie that you strike with your buddies is one thing which stays, because it's a really dangerous terrain, and the frills fall off in these kind of places, right? Only those things really what matter. And from advanced base camp, when I went up, I was not sure whether people die, and you know that you're taking a chance, and whatever be it, parents are alive. I did make a will kind of a thing. I typed it out with all my bank all passwords and everything, to be sent to a friend of mine, saying that you really do not know. So at that point of time, there is something which, like I said, it's a play, it's a balance between fear and courage. That's what I would say. And when you come back, you know that you've seen something which otherwise you wouldn't have seen. Yeah, life has a little different meaning in those times.
Another question I wanted to ask you was, who wrote that beautiful poem on Ithaka?
His name is Constantine. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kafavi. I'll send it to you. I can send you that thing. It's a very famous poem. Luckily, I used to always have it with me. Constantine Kafavi is an American author and poet. I'll send the link also. By the time somebody has a question, I'll just send it.
Thank you. We would love that link.
Yeah.
I have a comment. May I share my comment?
Please.
I heard you speak at in the Bay Area when you came a couple of years ago. I think it's an IIT event. It is wonderful to hear your presentation and speak with you briefly. Very inspiring. Every time I look at it, it's totally awe-inspiring. You climbed the tallest mountain in the world, and you have utter humility. And it seems to, even though you may not acknowledge, may have transformed you. I know a lot of the NGO work and all the leadership work that you're doing and giving back. So that is even very inspiring. So a great role model and always inspiring. So when you really are a giant, I'm just a casual trekker. I've gone to things like Annapurna base camp. So I do have an appreciation for mountains, the Gangotri and Gomukh, places like that. So I have some appreciation, but this is in a whole different realm and whole different league. And I've seen it a few times and always very inspiring. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you give us a sense of the Sherpa perspective? More than the 1.5 hour ceremony that you talked about in the beginning, but anything else that gives us a sense of the Sherpa perspective of the mountain, its holiness, its climbing, and just their perspective? Yeah.
So the Sherpas do it as a job because they are getting paid for it, and it's actually sad because their number of climbs are not really counted, and I don't know, there is some kind of a discrimination there. Not all Sherpas are climbers. Some of them are cooks. Some of them carry some luggage nearby and things like that. Only some of them who are really qualified and can match up really climb up. And of course, they can carry so much of weight, much more than us. And it is said that there is some kind of a muscle which they do not have in their lungs, which perhaps we have, which does not allow us to expand properly. And yeah, for them it is a job, and yeah, that's all I can say of.
Hello.
Not well off either. Not well off either. So.
Hi,
nice
hi, Lijo.
Of course. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Lijo. I'm Commander Guru Prasad. I also happen to have served in the Navy. Yeah.
Okay. So I know.
It was fantastic to listen to your wonderful presentation. You were very eloquent, and the photographs really added so much to the presentation, and to give us a sense of how it is to be in the high mountains. Now, I have a question for you. You see, the mountains and especially Himalayas are always associated in the Indian tradition with spiritual attainment and spiritual people and rishis and all that. So my question to you is, especially when you reach the higher levels, did you find some sort of purification takes place? Maybe because less oxygen, or purification of human minds, or did you find the same meanness, same petty mentality amongst people there, or they were all people who were elevated in their thinking?
Yeah. Some things I didn't say, but this is a very pointed question, so I will answer. I was an amateur, so I couldn't have attained any spiritual thing because I was just too tired to feel anything. I was just too tired. But we would always help each other, and if there is any American here, please, I apologize straight away, but this is something which really happened. We would help, and we would never be mean. And since you have used this word mean, there was one place which was an intermediate base camp. And there was one guy in a tent there who, as a means of livelihood, was providing, he had somehow managed to carry gas cylinders there. So he would give us some food and water for sure. And we would pay for it. Water was really crucial. And every mountaineer knows on Everest, you just stand somewhere, you can be dried out of, you can be dehydrated. Clothes, if you put it fully drenched for 15-20 minutes, it is dry. It is that bad. When we were doing our summit attempt, everybody knows we just got 5-6 days. At intermediate base camp, which is 6,000 meters, when we reached it to our utter horror, we realized that this tent and whatever was there were bought out by about 5-6 Americans who were climbing.
Oh, okay.
We said, oh my God, we did not know it. Can you please give us that water that we would have bought from here? We just have our one bottle. We could have another 5-6 hours and we will reach advanced base camp. And Indian team was very, very well equipped. We did not take any chances. And we told them, whatever you want, we will give you on top. It's just that we did not know, otherwise we would have been prepared. They didn't give us water. And they knew that not having water at that height means you can die.
Oh, okay.
We managed, we reached, we climbed up at advanced camp 1, where I showed you it was a small ledge, 7,200, 300 meters. There, this same team had a medical emergency.
I see.
And they came to us.
Okay.
With no problems whatsoever. And we being we would surely not deny, I think. Of course, we fought amongst each other saying that, God, how can they come to us and all that? But of course, we did what needed to be done. But it's been 15 years plus, but I've not forgotten that incident.
Right. So the human beings are the same.
Yeah. I think in Corona also we see helpful people who are so afraid, unhelpful. And so I think it is just, the best and the worst probably come out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And it also happened to this from the South Korean team where the three people died. The fourth or the next best climber was a lady. She was at that time 38 years old. She said she will go up still. Unheard of thing. Her Sherpa left midway. Sherpa.
I see.
Again, she could have died. We do not know how such a miracle happened that there was another Sherpa of another climber. The climber couldn't climb and the Sherpa decided to go up. He had an extra oxygen bottle. It is impossible for anybody to carry one extra oxygen bottle at that height. It is 8,000 meters. And he saw her and gave that oxygen bottle to her. Otherwise, there was sure one more death. She climbed. She went up the top. Allah, fortune favors a brave kind of a case it was. She was too good. She was. So you have all these things happening.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mr. Lijo, you had a LPG burner. You cannot melt ice. And what about the mobile, cell phones, connectivity, communication?
We were carrying some, those days we had walkie-talkies. And one member in the team had that, we had an iridium, that very costly thing which we had at that point of time. And from base camp to India, we had satellite phones, which we had one or two of the ships. Satellite phones we had taken, and we had some solar panels which we could use to charge them. And from advanced base camp onwards, of course, we would carry our small cylinders. 2 people would carry one, or sometimes if you're climbing alone, you think you can carry one extra, you climb, you carry it. Yes, we would carry. And carry a noodle pack or whatever semi-cooked stuff that you can make your food.
Yeah, with LPG burner, you cannot melt ice and drink water. I don't know. I have not climbed, so I maybe.
No. No, when you're in your camps, we have that LPG there, and you make all your food proper. Like I mean,
At the top.
you have a pressure cooker.
Right.
No. We carry this cylinder only till advanced base camp. Above that, we don't carry. We only carry our small stuff with us. Somebody has asked about the presentation. I can send it to Vivaji and then she can share it, or Chidananji can share it.
By looking at you, we are getting inspired. That's it.
Oh, God. No.
Hats off to you. Thank you.
Chidananji is inspiring us.
Great, sir.
I think
so that was wonderful. Am I audible to all?
Yes, Swami.
Yes.
Yes. I am very happy that this webinar took off. Some 2 weeks ago, actually, Lijo was supposed to present it. Then, as he himself diverged it, he actually had corona affecting him. He went for quarantine. And then I thought, well, it will take a couple of months before he says he is ready. But much before I imagined, he shot a message to me, I am ready, almost with the same spirit, I guess, how he was ready to climb Mount Everest. He said, I'm ready to present the webinar. Therefore, we quickly organized this. And this was a very fascinating, wonderful presentation. In fact, most of us would not mind going through everything once more to be very, very clear. On behalf of all, and especially on behalf of this FOI forum, I express our gratitude to our dear new friend, Lijo. Now all of you know him. It is great to connect like this. Thank you. And I hope in some way or the other, you will be in touch with all these people who have joined today. And about maybe the leadership school or something, will bring you again before them, I hope.
Yes,
they would love to have you speak to them on another topic. And thank you so much for taking the time off to present this. And I am personally very heartened by the attendance too. In fact, these Sunday webinars by me also on Vedanta topics gets about this number. So it is, I was slightly afraid that Mount Everest, some of the spiritual students may back off. But no, everybody has come, and they look like as eager to, know about the top of Mount Everest as about some high spiritual truth. Equal interest they have shown. Therefore, I must compliment all the participants too this evening here in India. And of course, for some of you, it's Sunday morning in California and other places. Thank you, Lijo. And I didn't ask you if you had.
Sorry?
Connectivity problem.
Okay. I think it was mine.
The connection from that side of Swamiji is.
Yeah.
Last question to Lijo. Did the Indian government felicitate you?
Yes. When we came back, Kalam sir was president, so he called us to his in the presidential palace, and we had tea with him. Those days, defense minister was Pranab Mukherjee, so we had another meeting and things with him, and he presented us a big memento, which was in the shape of Everest, and which is there, finds a place of prominence in our drawing room.
Indian Navy should be proud of you, Lijo, and all the team members.
Yeah.
Salute to the Indian Navy.
Thank you.
I'm a very proud Indian. That's why I'm saying that.
Yes, of course.
the end user, it has gone on well. The network of Swamiji has gone.
Oh. Yeah, there's a network problem, I think. Swamiji cannot reconnect.
Yeah.
So anyone has any questions now? You all are most welcome. And he's ready to even very enthusiastically is answering also every small details. So nice of him.
I think overshot time, so people might have to go for their Sunday morning walks and all that. I don't know how the air is in California now.
Okay, Commander Lijo, it was really very nice, and
thank you so much.
A lot of exploration we could do it, like just visualizing, nothing else. It's very nice. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again, maybe with other topics or many other experiences of your life. Soon you can contact
something about submarines which I can share, so no problem.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you have a lot of other, topics also to be shared. So please do call us or send the message, and we'll organize it.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hari Om to all.
Good night, good day.
Hari Om, Vibaji. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baji.
Hari Om.